friends, welcome back to our 2-week travel program. Today we are focusing on lower body. We're going to start with some foot and ankle love. We'll get into some spicy supersets, and then we'll end it with a little stretch. If you have weights with you, you'll have some opportunities to add them if you want a little more spice. But as always with this program, all you need is your body and enough space to move. So let's get into it. We're going to start at the back of our space. We're going to go for 4 different kinds of walks. Bear with me. I got this from a physical therapist on TikTok, but it's brilliant. I've been doing it. It feels so good. We're going to start walking on our heels. We're going to go back and forth 4 times. Just take yourself for a little walk. Doesn't need to be anything fancy, and if you have more room, you're more than welcome to use it. If you want to hold on to something, that's okay too. We're going to switch to the tips of our toes now. Up, up, up. This is great before a walk. This is great after walk. Maybe you are on vacation somewhere fancy and you're getting a little more walking than you're used to. Woo, 2 more times back and forth. I love doing this before my walks in the morning to like wake up my body from the bottom up. Here we go. Now we're going on the inner blades of our feet. The inner ball, the inner heel. You might want to stand up straight and look where you're going. That would probably help me, but you know, it is what it is. You're going to start to feel your ankles come in on this one. After we're done with this, you're going to be like, whoa, I'm so connected to the floor and I'm so ready to lunge. Here we go. We're going to the outer edges of the feet, those outer blades. Ooh, it's like you're showing the soles of your feet to each other. Don't look at how dirty my socks are, I promise. All right. Here we go. One more time with this one. I'm going to stay patient with it. Getting speedy. Excellent, let's let it go. We're going to bring it back to the center. We're going to plant our feet on those parallel train tracks. We're going to pick up one set of toes and then the other. Pick up the toes and swap. Trying not to disturb the rest of the body. Little tiny toe taps warming up the fronts of the ankles. Woo! As you start to feel comfy, you can go a little bit faster. Tap, 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 tap. Happy feet. Here we go. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to start to lift and drop the heels, both at the same time if you'd like. You could turn this into a little hop, rolling through the feet, or you can just take a little bounce. Trying to spread out all 10 toes on the floor, soft through your knees and ankles. Here we go. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're going back to those toe taps. Try not to rock back and forth. Maybe you try to stand up a little taller. I'm going to keep reminding myself of that because I want to hunch today. Up and at 'em. Here we go. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to the bounces. Down, down, down. Good. Again, we don't need to slam this. It doesn't need to be anything serious. Just softly connecting those heels to the floor, getting a little bit of good impact, even a little heart rate boost. Here we go. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and shake it out. All right, we're moving on to our first proper move. Just one time through this, I'm going to take my feet about as wide as my mat and slightly turned out, slightly rotated out from the hips. I'm going hands behind the head. You can go hands to hips too. I'm going to hinge back, sending my tailbone back behind me as if I were doing a deadlift, hinging back. From here, I'm going to bend my knees, send my knees forward, hips down, into a nice little squat. Then I'm going to push my feet into the floor, stretching my legs, coming back up to that hinge position, that flat back, and I'm going to stand up. That's the whole thing. It's a little zigzag. It's a lot of choreography. I call these catcher squats. Here we go. Let's do this. Hinging back, dropping hips down, looking up. Stretching out through the legs, hips back again. Squeeze the glutes to stand. We go hips back. We go hips down, chest up. We go hips up, head forward, and we stand it up. That was 2. I'm going for 8 more. 1 nice long set. Woo! Greasing up the knees and the hips. So if you'd like to take this a little slower than I am, fewer reps, more time in these positions, playing around, go for it. We're just here to get the body a little more prepared to do some hard work. Ooh. Nice, my friends. Are you still breathing? That would be an important thing to remember right now. I always shock myself with how long I feel like it's been every time I'm like, take a deep breath. And then I'm like, did I do that at all today? How am I still standing? So I'm here to remind you. And then we'll all remember together. We'll all breathe together and it'll be great. I'm going for 2 more full reps of this catcher squat. Hinging at the hips, bending at the knees, standing up through the legs, squeezing glutes to come up to plank. And last one, back and down. Press away. Stand it up and let it go. Beautiful. All right, we're going to get into our very spicy superset. We're going to go 1 leg at a time. I'm going to set up using the wall. You could also use a chair, but our working leg is going to be away from our support so we can lean into our support, okay? So if you're starting on your right leg, you want to hold on with your left hand. We're going to start with a reverse lunge. I'm stepping back and down, hinging in the hips, pressing up through this front heel to stand, all right? If you really want to focus this in on the glutes, make it a little comfier on the knees. Imagine that your knee is pinned in space, and we're sitting back from there instead of letting the knee travel forward from there. Up to you, but play around with it. We're here for 8, and then we're going to move into a single leg deadlift. This inner leg is just dead weight. We're going to let it sail back behind us nice and relaxed. Both hips moving together, super square. We're going to squeeze the glutes to bring it up. So we're doing a knee dominant movement and then a hinge. Sound good? We're going for 8 of each. If you're feeling brave and you'd like to step away from the wall and work on balance a little bit more power to you. But I'm going to hold on to the wall in case you're there and you want a buddy. Here we go. Stepping back and down. Drive through that front foot to stand. Sitting back and down, letting those glutes stretch. We contract from the bottom, bring it up. Sitting back and down. Squeeze and stand. Good, sitting back and down. Squeeze and stand. Nice, I'm thinking length in the spine. Top of my head down through my tailbone. These don't need to go deep, just go as far as you can control it. I'm going for 2 more. And then we're going to move right into that single leg deadlift. Woo! Spicy superset, you're going to feel those glutes on. Here we go. I'm sending hips back. I'm squeezing glutes, bring it back to stand. I'm stretching back. Squeezing forward. Nice, practicing that clean hinge. My hand is at about shoulder level so I can keep my shoulders square. Letting my eyes travel with me. Good, this is 4. Got about 4 more here. I'm keeping my supporting knee a little bit soft, only moving from that hip here. You're doing great. Let's go 2 more. And last one. And we're going to swap it right to the other side. Let's go. Woo! We don't have all day. You've got important things to do. I'm left foot planted on the ground, right hand holding on. Let's do this. Stepping back with that right leg. Press up through the front heel. Stepping back. Pressing up. I know it can feel scary to move your hips back behind you. That probably sounds silly, but it's like not something our brain really wants to let us do. So you've got to let go a little bit. You got to relax and soften on the way down so you can fully contract and strengthen and stand on the way up. We got 3 more on this side. Staying patient with it. Woo, last 2. Press down into the ground. Last one. Drive that foot down. Excellent. We're going into that single leg deadlift. Both hips pull back. Both hips squeeze forward. You're not squeezing your hips, you're squeezing your glutes. You know what I meant. Ooh, you can imagine maybe somebody's pulling back on your belt loops. Both hips are moving together. My whole pelvis is tilting together. So it's like I'm backing up into a tiny little parking space. Try to relax your back leg. It's just dead weight for you. Ooh, I'm going 3 more. Nice, last 2. Good, and last one. And stand it up, shake it out. We're going back to the first side. Again, keeping it speedy. Good news, bad news time. We gotta do it all again. The good news part of that is you've already done it. If you'd like a little step up, you'd like to add some weight, go ahead and let it hang close to your leg for both those lunges and for those deadlifts, yeah? All right, here we go. First side again. Let's do this. Sitting back and down. Driving that foot into the floor as if you could drive it into the center of the earth. Ooh, digging through sand, I don't know, plant some roots, and then get tall. This is 4. Good, 4 more. This is gonna feel spicy without that time to rest, even if you're not picking anything up, even if we're just using body weight. So that's part of the deal. If it feels hard, it's because it is, and it's worth it. We're here to do some hard stuff together today. Last one, going into the hinge, into the deadlift. Here we go, hips back. Squeeze, bring it up. Nice, if you're working away from the wall, you might reach forward as hips travel back. Counterbalance that a little bit. Ooh, that feels all kinds of different. Pardon my sound effects, I feel like I'm surprising myself with these today. Hips back. Even if you are holding onto the wall, spreading your foot out, planting into the ground. Ask for some support from the floor underneath you. Here we go. And I'm going for my last single leg deadlift. Squeeze the glutes, stand it up, and let's swap it out. Back into the lunge, flipping sides, legs on parallel train tracks. I'm going back and down. I'm pressing up and away. Woo! It's like I'm taking the stairs 3 at a time. Ooh. Pressing through to stand up on the supporting leg. Moving the whole rest of the body with just the force in this leg. It's pretty impressive when you think about it like that. Explains why lunges can feel like torture. Here we go, 3 more. And up. Last 2. Drive through that foot. And last one. Swapping out for the deadlift. Let's go, hips back, back, back. And squeeze. Hips back, back, back. And squeeze. Nice, you should be able to hold on to that sensation of plank in your torso. If you feel a little bit wobbly up here, lock it down at the top and decrease that range of motion, yeah? Just because your hip will let you doesn't mean we need to go all the way down and tap the floor. Often that means we're using our flexibility and not our strength. Woo. We're going for 8 reps on this side. I'm gonna do 2 more. I lost track when I did that weird, bad penché. All right, last one. And up, let it go, shake it out. Pull your shorts out of your butt. All right, here's our next move. We're gonna repeat this one twice on each side as well, but we're only going for 6 reps. We're gonna set up in our lunge position, taking a tiny step back, squaring off those hips, dropping that tailbone down to the floor to get tall. We're going to lower and pulse. Up, up, up. This is our split squat. I'm squeezing my inner thighs together. I'm imagining I could pull my mat in from both sides all the way up to the top. On that 3rd pulse, if you'd like, I'm gonna drive my knee up, stand up tall, feel this hip flexor lift just a little. Yeah, we're there for 6. Let's do this, let's be brave. Here we go, I'm stepping back and down. And pull up, pulse up, halfway down and all the way up. Good, 5 more. down and up, down and up. Woo! All the way up. Down and up. Good. Up. Halfway through it this side, you get to control how big your stance is, how big your pulse is, whether you want to drive that knee up or whether you just come to stand. Woo! Down and up. Down and up. Drive that front foot down to the floor. Let's go. One more. Down and up. Down and up. The whole pelvis is bobbing down and up. Nice. Shake it out. Other side. Let's go. Setting up again. Squaring off. We set up. We go down and up. Down and up. Down and all the way up. Driving into the floor. Down and up. Down and up. Down and all the way up. Woo! Down and up. Down and up. Down and really drive through that heel. Ooh, you're gonna feel that posterior chain hop online for you if you press through that heel. Let's go, 2 more. Down and up, down and up. Relax and squeeze. Last one. Down and up, down and up, down and press it up. And back to that first side. I know your hands are still toasty, but we're going again. Let's do this, finding length in the low back. I'm sliding down, squeezing up, and squeeze, press. Good. If you'd like a little tactile cueing, you can bring 2 fingers right to this glute. Feel it engage as you drive the floor away. Get tall. Good. Remember to shift your weight into that support if you're using the wall. Down and up, down and up, down and up. I'm going 2 more. If my knees had headlights on them, my beams aren't crossing, yeah? They've got their own space. Here we go, last one. Up, squeeze the glutes. Squeeze the glutes and stand. Amazing. Other side, you got this, right into it. Ooh, last little bit of single leg torture. We slide down, press up, and squeeze up, and squeeze, stand up, press the floor away. Good, down and up, down, and press through. Nice. Down and up, down and up, down and up. Whew. Halfway there on this side. We are almost done, my friends. I do believe this is the worst part, maybe. I don't make any promises about that. Here we go, last one, best one. I can promise that. And squeeze to stand. Excellent, shake out those Legos, let it go. We are going down to the ground for a little bit of quad work. Ooh, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be spicy. Couple options for you. If you'd like, you can pad up your mat for some extra cushion under the knees. That's gonna be really helpful. We're gonna be on our knees in case I wasn't explicitly clear about that. If you prefer not to be on your knees for whatever reason today, you can take our first move, our kneeling squat, which I'll explain in just a second, as any kind of squat you like. A chair squat, an air squat, a weighted squat, again, if you've got those weights, whatever feels good today. And then our second move, which is gonna be a reverse Nordic curl. Wee woo, wee woo. That's the quad alarm. You're gonna take that as a pulse in the bottom range of that squat. So either hovering off your chair or down in your low squat. You know I like to reach forward, squeezing and lower. This does not have to be a quick pulse. Time under tension is gonna work wonders here. But again, test it. See how low you can go. Keep those glutees stretched just a little longer. If you're here with me on the ground, I'm going knees slightly farther apart, heels, what are these? Hips back on the heels, toes untucked. I'm going to stack my rib cage over my pelvis, and then I'm going to hinge forward. See how my torso is in a diagonal angle right now, stretching out top of the head through the tailbone, I'm going to maintain that angle. So when I squeeze my glutes and lift up, the top of my head is going to the far corner of the ceiling, and then my tailbone is going back to my mat when I sit back down, not pressing up at the top. I know it's tempting, okay? We are here for 60 seconds today. So if this is a new move, if you're just playing around with it, this is just time to practice. All right, stacking up, hinging forward. We go in 3, 2, 1. We squeeze and stand, and lower down. We squeeze and stand, and lower down. Remember that diagonal angle. Squeeze and stand, lower down. Squeeze and stand, lower down. I like to imagine there's a pom-pom resting on my heels. I'm gonna pick it up with my cheeks, and then I'm gonna gently place it back down. Squeezing, picking up, and slowly decelerating. We are more than halfway done. Air squatters, how are you doing? I haven't forgotten about you and your perpendicular shins. We're all squatting together. Here we go. 15 seconds left. Good. Squeeze it up. And lower down. I'm here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. All right, we're staying on our knees. Remember that pulse if you're standing up. I'm going to go knees closer together. Now we're moving into that reverse Nordic curl. I'm going to show you what it looks like and we'll talk through it together. I'm tucking my tailbone. I'm going to reach forward. I'm leaning back. I'm squeezing to bring it back up to the top. This is the opposite feeling of that kneeling squat. I am pressed and stacked and standing all the way up here on top of my knees. This is going to be a lot smaller than maybe you want it to be. I want you to imagine what my quads are doing here. If they're trying to extend my bottom leg, right? When I make that angle more acute, when I bend my legs more, my quads are working to press my shins into the ground, straighten me back up. Again, it's like the bottom range of motion of our squat. Don't be afraid to flip between options if this doesn't feel good for you. You could also maybe use wall or chair for a little extra support. Test how comfy this is. Again, we're here for 60 seconds. It's just time to practice. You do you. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. I'm bringing it back. I'm squeezing, standing up. Nice. I'm going to reach out, give a big double thumbs up. Get some upper body tension going. Leaning back. Squeeze, stand it up. Woo, my quads are feeling toasty. Good, my pelvis is gently tucked underneath me, employing that posterior pelvic tilt. Good, we are more than halfway done. You're doing great. Good. If this was enough today and you want to zoom through the repeat, you have my permission to skip right to the stretch. Otherwise, we got 10 seconds left. You're crushing it. Woo! In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Let it go. All right, maybe you need to stand up, shake those out a little bit. We're going to go into one more set of kneeling squats into those reverse Nordics. It's going to be spicy. You're going to feel so good and badass when it's done. Let's get into it, yeah? All right. I'm walking my knees a little farther apart. I'm sitting up on my heels. I'm going to hinge forward. Let's do this 60 seconds on. We squeeze, lift up. We lower down. Good, maybe it helps you to reach forward on these too. Again, this is a squat. This is just a squat that's a little bit collapsed on itself. Looks a little funky. So don't be afraid to swap this out for a squat you like better. Woo! 25 seconds down. Almost at that halfway point, and then we'll be zooming through that halfway point, and then we'll only have a few seconds left. And I'm going to be there with you through the whole thing. The repeat is always harder. Good, my friends. Exhale as you push up and away. Slowly release on the way down. 10 seconds left. Hell yeah. Good, we're done in 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. I'm switching back in. We've that reverse Nordic. Let's do this standing up tall, tucking my pelvis underneath me. Again, this is a small move. If you want to sub this out for a squat pulse, we're doing the same thing, working those same muscles. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Leaning back. I'm squeezing up. I'm thinking about keeping that pelvis tucked under me as if I were in a plank. Woo! Good. Relaxing my shins and my feet on the floor. Softening my collarbones, saying nice things to myself as I do something really hard. Good, 25 seconds down. Maybe you test this going a little bit slower. Just check it out, see how it goes. Maybe you get down ½ an inch more next time. Maybe you reset at the top, check back in with that plank. Good. 15 seconds left. This is all that stands between you and a nice yummy stretch. Good, we're done in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. Let it go. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna shake out those knees and quads a little bit. We're gonna be down on the floor doing some lunging to stretch out those quads. You could also take this as a standing quad hold if you prefer, you know, like gym class style. I'm gonna step forward with my left foot. I'm going to lean over my toes, standing my knee over my toes, keeping my hips in line, thinking plank. Ooh, try to release your foot on the ground. Maybe this is enough. Maybe you reach forward. Maybe you put your hands down to the ground. Whatever feels good, allow this foot to relax and spread. And then if you're feeling good here and you want a little more, go ahead and bend that back foot in. Yeah? Maybe you reach around and grab it, gently pull it closer to you, heel to glute. Maybe you just practice picking it up off the floor. See what that feels like today. Maybe you ignore me and you just hang out here, or again, taking one of our quad stretches. Wherever you are, we're thinking about stretching out from the top of the head through the tailbone, and we're holding here for 2 more easy breaths. And on your next exhale, we're gonna let that go. We're gonna switch sides. I'm coming back down to the ground. Take a big step forward, square off the hips, slide forward over that front foot. Woo! We're practicing at dorsiflexion in the ankle here. Giving those ankles and feet a little bit of love. Maybe softening the shoulders. And maybe if you're ready, go ahead and bring that back foot in. Maybe you reach for it. Maybe you just peel it off. Woo! Thinking about dropping that tailbone down. Trying to soften anything that needs a little extra TLC today. Anything that's sending up alarm bells, that's just that stress, that tension creeping in, that isn't hurting you, let it go. Like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to breathe through it. It's going to be okay. Let's go 2 more breaths. And now that next exhale, we'll let it go. Maybe you take this back to a child's pose for a little bit of low back love. Maybe you tuck your toes, lift your hips, drop your heels, pressing out of the hands into a nice, easy down doggy-ish position. I'm gonna start to walk my feet in towards my hands so I can roll it up. But if you have the extra time, maybe you hang out, resting here for a second, giving yourself a moment to recharge before you hop into the rest of your day. Thanks so much for being here with me, and I'll see you for day 3.